Welcome to another edition of Playthrough, and this time around it's Alien Syndrome, brought to us by Sega, Sunsoft, and Tengen. Of course, Sega did Sonic the Hedgehog Ultra Beast, Sunsoft Blaster Master, and Fester's Quest, and Tengen, the original NES version of Tetris. They did Gauntlet and RBI Baseball. It's an interesting combination to combine all three of these companies. Of course, Sega makes the Genesis the Master System, and making a game on the NES is interesting enough. You have Sunsoft, who of course more famously for making Blaster Master as well as the Batman games. And then you have Tengen, who made a whole series of unlicensed NES games, including going to court against Nintendo over the rights to Tetris. They had like the weird black-shaped flat like front cartridges that I'm sure many of you have seen. So it's an interesting combination of those companies together to make this game. It's one of those ones that I haven't heard a lot talked about. You don't really hear Alien Syndrome mentioned that often. More recently, they've made a Wii version, Sega did, which I've heard was not that good. It was mediocre, like middle of the road at its best. That's like the best reviews possible for it. Most are way below average. I may end up checking it out just because I've been playing this game a lot lately. But this game actually is pretty fun. I really never played it before attempting these playthroughs of it. And it reminds me a lot of Zombies Ate My Neighbors, but of course this came out way before, so, you know, that whole comparison thing. But since I love Zombies Ate My Neighbors, I compare it to that. Basically, in each level you have a time limit, but in each level you have to find or rescue 12 of your comrades, similar to what you had to do in Zombies Ate My Neighbors. The good thing is the aliens that you're fighting throughout the game, they can't kill the comrades, so you have to get all 12 of them in each level. Once you get all 12, the exit opens and you fight a boss battle, much like, it reminds me very similar to other Sunsoft boss battles such as Blaster Master and Fester's Quest, with just like the big black screen and it's you against the boss, and that's all that's on the screen. So it's very similar in many ways to other various games by the different companies and all. And I just felt that whole connection between these three specific companies together working on a game was quite interesting. Now, let's talk about the actual, what I'm doing in it so far. I found out through playing it that there's a good path to take, or a relatively good path to take. I'm sure in each level there's multiple paths you can take, like variances, just to pretty much get through the level with as little time taken off the clock and completing it as quickly as possible, not having to loop around the whole lot. You play it a few times, you learn the placement of the characters. There's a couple levels that's pretty easy to figure out, and they're even the later levels, it's pretty to figure out where to go next. While on this level in particular, it was very open. Now here's the first boss, and like I said, it's just a black screen with you and the boss. And for this boss, for all of them pretty much, they have a weak spot, and they open it up. As you saw for that guy, he would open up a little bit. Now on the second form, he turns into, he does that. And you want to stay far away from him on the left side of the screen and just attack him as he comes near, while also moving away. Only one or two bosses really give me any trouble, but I think the bosses overall are pretty good. I pick up the flamethrower when possible, and to pick up the upgrades, as you may have noticed, it's on the walls themselves, like a little piece of paper, it looks like, with a letter on it. And those are the different power-ups I pick up throughout the game. The one that just has F written on it is the flamethrower, that I find to be one of the more powerful and more useful weapons to pick up in the game. Now, here's level 2. I start off by going up the middle and then to the right side of the screen. I'm going to work my way all the way down the right side of the screen, picking up everybody. And then I'm going to work my way to the left side of the screen and work my way up towards the exit to finish up things and enter the boss battle. Some of the area, you could pretty much do it the opposite. You could go start on the left side and go all the way around and to the right, or you can go back and forth, or you can do any number of ways. There's no real correct way in order to complete this game in terms of finding it. There is a couple levels later on that if you decide to go right to the exit first and work your way backwards, it's just you end up going through a maze and all, so it's just going to take extra time. But for the first couple levels, like this one in particular, since it's a big open area and it's pretty much all open to you from the start, you have your options. If you know where everyone is, you pick what way you want to go through it in order to find all the guys. The good thing is, even with the weakest gun like I have now, all the spawns or aliens that you fight throughout the levels all die in one hit. so they're pretty easy to deal with. Some of the ones in the later levels they spawn at a faster rate, so they're a little bit more annoying, but still, they all pretty much get killed in one single hit. I'm going to grab the flamethrower here. There we go. I have 2 more of my comrades to save in the game. You can also, of course, play this team 2 players, just like Zombies Ate My Neighbors to compare it to, but that's one of the few games I can compare it to. I'm not sure if there really is any more in this specific genre other than these 2 games in particular. But you can play a 2-player, and I'm sure you'll both be on the same screen. One can't go past the other one, so it'd be a little bit challenging in terms of that. So I decided to try this game, get good at it with single player, just to get good at it. Now, the second boss is pretty simple, the first part of it. All you have to do is get within the spinning things and shoot it. Now, in the second part, you have to shoot it in the mouth that opens up, which you can see I can clip sometimes with the flamethrower, even though I'm not directly on it. Of course, he has that spread shot from the bottom, which is really easy to dodge, because you're going to be staying on the left side or above him the whole time. The only real thing you have to watch out for, is the projectiles that he'll be shooting out the top. There, watch out for them. But he's pretty simple boss. Some of the later ones are more challenging, at least hitting their weak spot because it's more well guarded. Okay, level 3. Well, I'm going to start off by going up here. Just so you know, see this big open area? You can fall off the edge and die, so be very careful. There is no kind of like invisible wall bordering the entire floor, whole area. So if you go outside that area, you will end up falling off to your doom. So be careful about that while completing this level. Now that I've got everyone on this main middle island part, I'm going to work my way through this pathway and work my way down, of course watching out, make sure I didn't get shot there. Watch out for that projectile being shot at me as well. And now I'm going to head over to the right here, shooting anything that gets in my path. Come on. It takes a lot of walking, obviously, in the game, so... Okay, I'm going to pick up this guy first, and the laser weapon, which is a pretty useful weapon overall, because of its long range, and it just goes through everything. Now I'm going to hit this path. It's going to take me to a small little end there that gets one more of the people I need to save. Pretty much they're all, even though there's 12 of them, they're pretty much in blatant areas. Just a little bit of, just a little bit of intelligence can help you find all of them with no problems. Plus, there is a map that you can use to help guide you. They're located on the big thing that says map. When I hit one in the first level, when you walk up to it, it shows you the whole area and all with everything on it. So you know, in case you get lost, you know exactly where you're located, kind of like a mall map with "you are here" written on it. So you know exactly where you are, and you can move around from there to find the rest of the people that you need to find. You have a good amount of time to find everybody. Even though there is a time limit, which I'm not a big fan of time limits in games. I like being able to explore and figure out every little intricacy of the level before completing it. So I'm definitely not a fan of time limits. But it doesn't really, since it's enough time, it doesn't hurt me that bad. I'm able to always pretty much finish the level with most time to spare. Only one boss in particular drains